Not cover, participate in same-day ARCS delivery. Check with your health plan for further details. Excludes California.
Why would someone looking for a mortgage at the Jersey Shore take a loan from a company in Detroit or North Carolina or some other far-off place? Online mortgages promise a lot, but don't always deliver. First Bank of Sea Isle City knows the Jersey Shore. We are local lenders. We use local appraisers and provide in-house processing. We understand the unique obstacles of financing in Cape May County. Don't take a chance. Local banking is better. Let us guide you. First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The power plays, the big saves.
Oh, big save by Carter Hart.
The one-timers. It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. This is 97.3 ESPN, WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Josh Hennig live here in the Matt Black Kia Studios here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle City. Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni spoke to the world today. They gave the latest and greatest updates on pretty much anything you wanted to ask them about. And honestly, half of what they said, I could have told you. So we'll cover some of that as well today. Also, it's a Weinberg Wednesday. We will review the finality of the Eagles season with Dave Weinberg. We talk with Dave every week here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, you can check out Dave's extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. Speaking of columns over at 97.3, right now, you can check out the 6 veteran receiver options for the Eagles to pursue this offseason. I put up over at 97.3. With that a little bit later in the show as well and throughout the week, because we kind of started having this. The conversation actually started on Saturday, and it's like kind of like just kept rolling on through the week. So we'll get to some of your guys' thoughts about that as well. But I want to start with Sirianni and Roseman, because Howie and Nick said something important today that I understand that some of the fans out there are not going to want to hear, and they're not going to like it, or they're, you're going to be annoyed by it, or description you want to use. But Howie and Nick were asked about Jalen Hurts today. And, it's one of those things where it was the very beginning of the press conference. Okay. It was, right at the beginning. It was like one of the first questions basically asked. This is what Nick Sirianni said about Jalen Hurts.
As far as the first part, Jalen knows where he stands with us. He knows he's our quarterback. That's how do you know where you stand with a coaching staff? Because you communicate and you talk over and over and over and over again. And so Jalen knows where he stands with us. I thought he did a great job of getting better throughout the year, as we've talked about. And so, yeah, there's no secrets there. He knows he's our guy.
That's as clear as you can get. There's no ambiguity. There's no, going on. It's just straightforward. He's our guy. He knows where he stands with us. This was Howie Roseman on Jalen Hurts.
We talk about Jalen and the growth he had, really first-year starter, second-year player, leading this team to the playoffs. Tremendously impressed by his work ethic, his leadership. Last time we talked was during camp, and we said we wanted to see him take the bull by the horn, and he certainly did that.
You guys can react right now. You can DM us through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle City. And, of course, you can text in at 609-403-0973 if you're listening on 97.3 ESPN FM. Listen, it's very clear that this organization is behind Jalen Hurts, and they're way more behind Hurts than, frankly, they ever were behind Wentz. I don't think it's a coincidence that they came out as clear as they did on Jalen, because what the organization is telling you is they don't care about the noise. They don't care about what the naysayers are saying. There is something about Jalen that cannot be measured by what some random fan may say on Twitter, what somebody may critique about him on any platform. All right. The reality is that Jalen has something and they're buying into it. I told you guys previously that when the players in an organization buys into a player, there's a reason they're doing it. And you can say all you want. Oh, that's coach speak. They're supposed to say that. That's actually not true, because I heard the Eagles tiptoe and walk around Wentz for a couple years there. I heard this organization be non-committal when it was Foles and Wentz back in 2018, when Wentz was throwing all those interceptions in 2020. I heard this organization be non-committal back in the day when it was Vic and Cobb. I've heard that story before. I've never heard this before. And frankly, many of you haven't either. The reality is that this organization is behind the quarterback. Now, what do they do to support the quarterback? That's a different conversation. That's why I wrote the article over at 97.3 ESPN.com. But with the presumption that Howie and Nick aren't lying through their teeth and they're not a bunch of schmucks, the reality is that Jalen Hurts is the starting quarterback, whether you like it or not. And also, whether you like it or not, Jalen Hurts is better than a huge chunk of the quarterbacks in this league right now. If you were to line up all 32 starters, which is actually more like 36, considering how many starts some other guys got this year, but of all the starting quarterbacks who played starting games this year, I can name you a ton of guys that I'm taking over, because I think Jalen Hurts has three things that those guys don't have. Number one, he has leadership skills. He has intrinsic ability to be a leader. You may not value that because all you want to complain about is Jalen Hurts throwing or missing this guy or doing that. Look, I get it. Some of you don't watch the rest of the league, but I do. And I'm not going to hold one game against Jalen. I'm going to use that one game as part of the weighted measure of how I perceive him. The reality is that there are reports out there that other NFL teams would like to have Jalen Hurts. You know why that is? Because they look at their quarterback situations and they realize that they're in a bad situation. Teams like Denver, teams like Washington, teams like the Giants, their quarterback situations are a mess. Cleveland thought they found the guy. Now apparently don't have the guy. Minnesota, do they want to start over? Do they want to trade Kirk Cousins and want to stick with him? You know who looked really bad this year? Jordan Love. Jordan Love got some playing time this year in the regular season. He didn't look so great. I think Jalen Hurts looks better than Jordan Love. The quarterback situation in Chicago is a mess. And I can't blame Justin Fields because they didn't put him in the best position to be successful either. And, oh, by the way, Houston, who knows what's going on down there? Nobody knows. If somebody says that they know, they're lying to you. Okay? The only person who knows what's going to happen down there is Deshaun Watson. Because only Deshaun Watson knows if these legal accusations against him are legitimate or not. At the end of the day, Jalen Hurts is the starter for the Eagles for a reason. And whether people want to accept it or not, there's no quarterback in this draft who's going to be elite. There's nobody in this draft that you want to get excited about. So for me, I'm going to go look at Jalen Hurts, and I'm going to say, look, you're my guy. And I'm going to try to find a way to put better talent around you. And as I wrote over at 973ESPN.com, there are options out there. Now, I purposely left off certain names. Like the person who messaged me yesterday talking about the Eagles getting DK Metcalf, okay? The Eagles have as much of a chance to get DK Metcalf as they do about getting Devontae Adams. Adams is either going wherever Aaron Rodgers goes next year, or he's getting franchise tagged. So you can take those pipe dreams and put them down the drain. Okay. There's a reason why they're called a pipe dream, because we're flushing them. But with that being said, look, there are guys out there. Allen Robinson, the Bears receiver, Calvin Ridley, the Falcons receiver, Mike Williams of the Chargers, Alan Lazard, the Packers receiver, because the Packers may have to make a decision who they're going to keep between Adams and Lazard. Christian Kirk is a guy who would be a very inexpensive option if you really think that Devonta Smith is a number one receiver. Don't forget, T.Y. Hilton was in Indianapolis for 3 years with Nick Sirianni. There are guys out there and more to be had. Again, they may not be the best options. You know, I don't think you want to go out and get A.J. Green, right? But there are guys who would greatly improve the talent around Jalen Hurts. And I think that those are the kind of guys that you want to make sure that you bring in, because they better your team. They make it less stress on Devonta Smith, less stress on the quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Now, part of making the team better also is Nick Sirianni's got to learn from his mistakes. Nick Sirianni's got to stop asking the quarterback to save him every time he makes a bad call or a bad judgment. But the reality is that when Sirianni and Howie said that today, I was honestly a little shocked. Because in the past, this organization has danced around answering the quarterback question at times. And in this situation, they're not. That should tell you something. Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Tonight at 7 p.m., Sixers take on the Orlando Magic. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. here on your radio home for Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN. Also, don't forget the 97.3 ESPN mobile app and 97.3ESPN.com. You can vote for this week's nominees for the South Jersey High School Athlete of the Week. Just go to 97.3ESPN.com or the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. You can check out who the high school athletes of the week are each week. You can vote, and then we announce the winners each Friday night, I should say, at 6:50 p.m. right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. All right, we'll hit the break. We'll hear from you guys a little bit later in the show. Keep the messages coming in. Of course, you can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Thanks to First Bank of Seattle City. And of course, as always, text board is open as well. 609-403-0973. Coming up on the other side, Dave Weinberg joins us for another edition of Weinberg Wednesday here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. I'm Josh Hennig, and this is Game Night.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app with Tim Saunders and Steve Coates calling all the play-by-play action.
The Flyers host the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey on the radio home of the Flyers in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN and listen live on the free mobile app.
Matt Blatt Nissan is looking to shed excess weight this new year, like $5,000. Yep, $5,000 off MSRP on every 2021 Nissan Titan Pro 4X.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Matt Blatt Nissan needs to move trucks. Every loaded 2021 4x4 Nissan Titan Pro 4X, $5,000 off MSRP. Plus, AJ the Trade Man wants to buy your vehicle today. Get cash on the spot or trade it in and drive a brand new 2021 Nissan Kicks SV. Just $299 per month lease. Or 2022 Nissan Sentra S. Just $249 per month lease with 0 security deposits and drive away with peace of mind, because only Matt Blatt Nissan has a 4-day love it or leave it return policy. So stop what you're doing and get $5,000 off new Nissans only at MattBlattNissan.com. Negative equity will be refinanced with the new vehicle. 36 months, 10,000 mile per year lease plus tax and $479 fee. Offers can't be combined. MSRP $60,140. VIN and N53 2176. Call 877-289-6670 or go to MattBlattNissan.com for complete details. Offer ends June 5, 2022. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
Everyone loves shopping online. Well, I'm going to tell you what I tell my golf buddies when they buy clubs. Stop searching for coupon codes. Download Capital One Shopping to your computer. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. Plus, it's free, and you don't even need a Capital One card to use it. That's like hitting a hole-in-one without even trying. Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Savings and available coupons vary.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer WetJet. With Swiffer WetJet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer WetJet. The faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's reminding you of our proud partnership with Hall of Famer Brian Dawkins and his Impact Foundation that serves needy communities. There is still time to try the exclusive B-Dawk Impact Burger, only at Chicky and Pete's, with $5 from every burger donated to the Brian Dawkins Impact Foundation. It's tasty grass-fed beef with mouth-watering jerk spices, Caribbean pineapple sauce, and jalapeno chimichurri served with a heaping side of our Krabby Sweets. The B-Dawk Impact Burger is a winner. For a limited time, only at Chickies and Pete's. Fast food or brown bag lunch at work got you down? Let Chicky and Pete's easy-to-use online ordering pick you up. Yes, I'm Pete from Chicky and Pete's, reminding you about our easy-to-use online ordering and convenient curbside pickup. All of your Chicky and Pete's food favorites are just a click away. Order online at chickyandpete's.com and pick up at the Chicky and Pete's closest to you. chickyandpete's.com, click online ordering, enter your zip code, and order away.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Ready for an oil change? We can help get the right protection at the right price. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Daily Protection or Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP oil filter for just $28.99. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
It's football season again, which means it's football season again. And here at Frank's Red Hot, we put together a completely exhaustive list of essentials that will bring everyone together on game day. Essential number 1, Frank's Red Hot. I mean, come on, people, that was a given. Number 2, wings. Like, just so many wings. Okay, it looks like that's it. There's not even a third thing on the page. Do I just say the first 2 essentials again, or is that weird? Nope, just Frank's and wings? Okay, that's okay, yeah. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
When we were ready to buy our first house, First Harvest Credit Union saw more than just our credit score. When it was time to replace our car, First Harvest's pre-approval helped us negotiate a great deal. When our family expanded, First Harvest helped our home expand along with it. When it was time to pay for college, First Harvest helped us save. Through all of life's twists and turns, there is one thing we can count on. First Harvest Credit Union is a better place to grow.
FirstHarvestCU.com. Insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender.
I know you've been waiting a little bit longer than normal.
Jen's manicure spot needs an extra pair of hands.
Who's at the front desk right now?
Someone who's handy with everything from nail files to spreadsheet files.
Deirdre's not coming in today, but we have that whole bachelorette party.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Kindle Auto Plaza has the area's largest selection of pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models, with over 170 pre-owned vehicles on their huge 100-acre lot. Everything from sporty coupes to SUVs to trucks. Kindle offers the area's best buying experience, easy and hassle-free, with 60 years of customer satisfaction and community service. Discover why Kindle customers are so loyal. Shop for your next pre-owned vehicle at Kindle Auto Plaza, exit 10 of the Parkway, Stone Harbor Boulevard, or online at KindleAutoPlaza.com.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig back here in the Matt Black Kia Studios here on 97.3 ESPN. Eagles end their season. Howie, Roseman, Nick Sirianni spoke 2 days later after the end of their season. I guess they needed 48 hours to compose themselves after losing a playoff game that almost nobody expected them to be in. I mean that tongue in cheek. I know someone out there is shaking their fist at the radio right now. Josh, why are you so disrespectful? Relax. Joining me now to talk more about the state of the Eagles as their season is finally over and react to some of the things that Howie and Nick said today at the presser. Dave Weinberg joins me on another edition of Weinberg Wednesday, extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. Dave, how you doing today?
Doing well, Josh. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. And I got to start with, listen, the Eagles today, pretty definitively, Sirianni and Howie both came out and said, Hurts is the guy. He's the starter. He knows he's the starter. So it seems like this organization, after years of dancing around the quarterback situation, right? You know, now they're finally willing to say a guy actually is the starter.
Yeah, I mean, well, they did. They were pretty adamant about Carson Wentz there a couple of years ago, for a couple of years, I should say. But yeah, it's nice that they are kind of solidifying things, not leaving it up in the air, which wouldn't be good for the team, wouldn't be good for Jalen, obviously. So yeah, the fact that they showed some confidence in him for at least one more year, I think it's a positive step.
It's also a positive because, you know, Dave, you've covered the NFL for a long time and you've been around these people. You know, at some point, you know, you just got to just come out and say what everybody else already knows. Like, it's one thing to be like, oh, everybody knows the deal. No. Sometimes you got to say it so the people in the back who are idiots can hear you, because there are still these people who think that you're better off with fill in the blank imbecile than Jalen Hurts. Maybe, you know, maybe somebody thinks Taylor Heineke is a better quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, there's fans that probably, were thinking Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, or, I've even heard Aaron Rodgers, if he's available, which I doubt that the Eagles would be willing to cough up enough for him. But yeah, I mean, the fact that you're behind Jalen and you made it clear, that should keep your fan base a little quiet, at least for a couple months anyway.
Well, it's a great opportunity now to turn around and actually now build around him, because you got 3 first-round picks. You're going to have cap space this offseason. Dave, I think this is an opportunity to say, all right, we know who the quarterback is. Now let's build a team around him, because the one thing we took from the game on Sunday, at least I did, Dave, is this team does not have enough talent. I mean, it was just so obvious that they just did not have the firepower.
It's been that way all year. I mean, there were some people that were kind of like, I don't want to say tricked, but kind of had some false confidence there because of the way they, they got into the playoffs. They were in a little bit of a run, forgetting the fact that they beat the Jets, the Giants, and Washington, and they were 0-6 against playoff teams. Now 0-7. So yeah, I mean, there's a pretty a fairly huge gap in talent between like the legitimate, the true playoff teams, the contenders, and the Eagles, who kind of got in the back door a little bit. That's for sure.
And listen, for as much as I am behind Jalen Hurts, I'll admit it, Dave, he did not have a good game on Sunday.
No.
He was late on a lot of throws. It's very obvious to me watching the tape, and I'm sure if I see it, someone who knows more football than me, like the guys who coach him would know, his mechanics are off. To me, it's very obvious that his mechanics from the shoulders down to the feet are just not in line for a lot of those bad throws. And to me, that's a clear thing that needs to be pointed out to him and say, all right, this is the thing you need to work on this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, he's much better off like taking the offseason, working with a so-called quarterback guru, maybe to get his, like you said, get his mechanics straightened out. I've heard people suggest that maybe the moment was too big for him, which I have a hard time believing, considering he played for Alabama and Oklahoma.
I agree.
I don't think that was the case. I just think he had a bad game. I don't know if it was him as much as the play calling, which is the head coach's responsibility. But yeah, you focus strictly on Dallas Goedert, completely ignored Devontae Smith for the first half. then focus solely on Devontae Smith and ignoring everybody else. It just wasn't. It wasn't a right game plan at all. But when you're down 31-0 before you can blink your eyes, there's really not much you can do at that point, I guess.
Well, you mentioned Goddard, and that's the other thing with this team. The reason why I said they need to build around the quarterback is because, no offense to Goddard, but if he's going to keep dropping balls like that, you can't go to him as the first option on these plays. I mean, at some point, Dave, Dallas Goedert needs to remember that he's being paid to catch the football. Like he's not there just to look pretty.
Right. I mean, yeah, if he wants to be paid like an elite tight end, he's got to start performing like it. And you're right, on Sunday, he wasn't anywhere close. It was dropping passes all over the place. I mean to consider him like in the same breath as George Kittle or Travis Kelce or even Zach Ertz for that matter. He has a lot of improvement to do. The whole team does really, but when you talk about building around Jalen Hurts, God, it's going to be your tight end, but you really need more production out of him.
Yeah, Darren Waller, Mark Andrews. I mean, the list keeps going.
Go down the list. Yep.
There's a lot of good tight ends in the NFL, and I understand that Goddard has talent, but like you said, he's got to put up or shut up. Dave Weinberg joining us for a Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN at Dave Weinberg 19 on Twitter. Now, I want to ask you about a question that's been brought up to me, and I'm very cemented in one side or the other.
Okay.
Do you feel like the Eagles should draft more wide receivers this year, or do they need to go out and get veteran guys in free agency or through trades?
I think you should probably focus on defense, at least in 2 of those 3 picks in the first round, because there's like so many holes, and everybody wants to upgrade the offense, but the defense has a lot of holes too, starting with the secondary, the edge of the front 4 linebackers. So I think it might be a little bit more important to get a veteran wide receiver, only because you need some stability at that position. You have a bunch of talented young guys, or at least one talented young guy. You need a steadying presence there, I think, to maybe teach Devontae the ropes of the game, both in the locker room and on the field. And there was a couple guys out there that could both contribute to the team as wide receivers and as veteran leaders. I think that would be the right way to go.
Yeah, see, I'm 100% on I'm tired of you drafting wide receivers. Go out and get some veterans. Like the veteran this year was
track record isn't very great.
The veteran is Greg Ward, first of all. Like, no offense to Greg Ward. I like Greg Ward. I think he has a place in the NFL, but I don't want him being the veteran voice in my wide receiver
No, definitely
room.
not. That's true. You're right there. Yep.
Honestly, stop asking guys like Devonta Smith and Quez Watkins to have to learn on the job all the time. Bring in a guy, whether it's if you want to go big game hunting, like an Allen Robinson or a Mike Williams in free agency, someone who's, why don't you even go, maybe want to give a prove it deal to T.Y. Hilton, make him the slot receiver. You know what I mean? Bring in a couple guys. You don't have to bring in one guy, bring in multiple veterans. You know what I mean? Bring in as many guys as you can get away with, because the only thing that's going to happen is, Devonta and Quez and all these they're all just going to be learning from these guys.
Yeah, and Jalen too. I mean,
yeah, you're right. Yeah,
he could benefit greatly from a veteran guy, great route runner. A sure-handed receiver who doesn't make a whole lot of mental mistakes. Somebody that he can actually rely on in clutch situations. That would definitely benefit Jalen Hurts as well.
The other thing that bothered me in the game on Sunday, I wanted to ask you about is, Dave, I got to admit, I was wrong about something. I was very, very wrong about this. Okay. I thought Sirianni learned his lesson. I thought Sirianni had figured out, I have a winning formula. I'm going to stick with it. And as soon as that first drive happened, my face was in my palm. And I said, well, I was wrong about Sirianni, because, Dave, that might have been one of the worst first halves he's ever called as a play caller. And I just don't understand how this guy had a winning formula, winning 7 out of 9 games, and then his first game in the playoffs, he was just like, nah, I'm going to do something else.
Yeah, I was really disappointed in that as well. I'm like you. I mean, I certainly had my doubts about him in the beginning of the year. He had kind of won me over a little bit, turning the season around. But, yeah, he completely fell apart on Sunday. I was almost like, he reverted back to his old ways, abandoning the run. Yeah, the game plan just wasn't good, and I don't want to say, like, if anybody the moment was too big for, it was him, probably. he got flat out coached by Bruce Arians. No question about it.
Well, not just Bruce Arians, but Todd Bowles.
And Todd Bowles too. Yeah,
You know, I felt like Todd was almost licking his lips when he saw some of those plays being called. You know,
yep.
And no offense, you know, I'm not trying to vacate responsibility from Jalen, but when the coach is in your ear, Steichen telling you this is the play, and you know, it's like third. When one play was like 3rd and 15, and they literally only had 2 routes on the play. I was just like, what is going on here? Like, why? And also, no carries for Jordan Howard. You barely used Scott in the receiving game. It was just such a strange plan that no wonder they were losing at halftime and not scoring anything.
Yeah, it was almost like they were trying to outsmart themselves, like trying to say, okay, Tampa's expecting us to do this, so let's do something different. But you know, you should have just stayed with your bread and butter. The fact that you got there with your running game, you know, stick with it until Tampa proves they can stop it. I mean, Tampa did a pretty good job. I mean, I thought Jason Kelsey had his worst game of the year by far. You know, up front, I don't think the line did a very good job. But yeah, all in all, I just think that it was a terrible game plan, and they picked the worst possible time to do that.
Now, Dave, guys like me are sitting here pounding the table. You got to get defense in the draft, right?
Right.
But what are the other things we mentioned receiver, right? But are there other things on the offensive side of the ball that you feel like the Eagles need to use their salary cap and draft assets on aside from receiver? You know, is it maybe something else that they need to go after?
I think you need a second tight end. With Tyree Jackson tearing his ACL, there's really no guarantee he's going to be back. And, you know, he had like a flash of a good game, but I think you need somebody to complement Goddard like they had with Zach Ertz and Brent Selleck, and you know, even go back with Trey Burton and Brent and Zach and Dallas. So I think most teams do have 2 or 3 really productive tight ends there, and I think that's a way that they should go. Elsewhere on offense, I mean, you know, wide receiver, obviously. I'm not really sold on the running back situation. It doesn't look like Jordan Howard's going to be back. Miles Sanders really hasn't done much to justify his elite, you know, so-called elite status. I mean, if there's a guy in like the 2nd or 3rd round that you really like as a running back, maybe go there. And you can never have enough good offensive linemen, Josh. You know that. I mean, the more the merrier, whether it's starters or depth. I mean, it looks like their starters are pretty much set, especially if Kelsey decides to come back, which I don't know. But even then, they seem to have some adequate replacements there. So, but yeah, the more depth you can have up front, the better off you're going to be.
Well, we know Howie likes to draft offensive linemen. So if they don't draft an offensive lineman the first 3 rounds, I'd be shocked, honestly.
That's true.
You know, the one thing Howie knows how to do is find O-linemen. I don't know why that's the one thing, but apparently that's the one
thing.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's so strange. But let's go to the defense because, you know, Jonathan Gannon he's a conundrum to me, Dave. Because on one hand, I don't think he's a dumb person. Like, I don't think he's stupid. But I do think that there might be a possibility that he's a better, like, CEO coach than a defensive play caller. Because for him to get 3 job interviews out of, like, nowhere, basically. I understand the reason why I got the Denver interviews because George Payton is there. That you used to work with him in Minnesota. But now the Vikings are calling. Almost nobody is left in Minnesota from he was there in terms of the organization. I don't know what his connection to Nick Caserio is down in Houston. So, you know, maybe there's something about this guy that he just interviews well. People like him, but maybe this guy just isn't a great coordinator. Maybe he's just a better coach. I don't know what the deal is with him.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't understand all the attention. I guess he's like that young guy that everybody's, you know, fascinated with. The new toy that you can bring in to really appeal to your fan base or whatever. I guess he does interview pretty well. A young, likable guy, has been around the league for a little while. So maybe he's the guy that, you know, like I don't want to compare him to like Sean McVay or somebody like that, but, you know, Cliff Killingsbury, one of those guys who, you know, really knocks your socks off, I guess, in the interview process. But, yeah, I haven't been all that impressed with him. I mean, there was a time earlier in the year where everybody wanted him gone. And he kind of reverted back, just like Sirianni did on Sunday. He kind of reverted back to that. I mean, they just got manhandled, and Tom Brady just picked them apart, which he's been wont to do against almost anybody. But still, I mean, there was hard. They had a couple of sacks on him, but really not a whole lot of consistent pressure, and secondary didn't play very well either. It was just that was just a one-sided game from the get-go almost.
Yeah, it's a weird situation because I feel like ever since the word came out that Gannon was interviewing for jobs, everywhere I go, I'm hearing people either online or even in person are like, get rid of Gannon, hire a new coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, listen, I get where you're coming from, but can we just admit that maybe there's not enough talent on the defensive side of the ball either? Like,
Yeah,
you
that
need
could be
more
too, yeah.
linebackers, you need more secondary, you need more pass rushers. You
Right.
need a lot of things on the defensive side. It's not all Gannon's fault.
No, and Slay's like the only guy coming back from the secondary, if I recall right.
All the other starters are free agents, Dave.
Yeah, so there's a lot of rebuilding to do there. I thought Steven Nelson had a terrible year personally. I just wasn't impressed with him at all, so I'm not really a lot upset if he leaves. And Rodney McLeod's kind of on the back nine of his career, so to speak. Great guy, great leader, but I don't know that I think his best days are behind him as well. So yeah, they definitely need to do that. And for whatever reason, though, it seemed like with Howie continues to not put a whole lot of emphasis on that linebacking core position as far as the draft goes. So, but maybe you can pick up somebody like in the middle rounds that can step in and be a playmaker for him.
I mean, look, I think the Kobe D would look amazing in the Eagles defense, but that's just me. I mean,
yeah,
I know I'm a little pipe dreaming there, the linebacker from Georgia, but the other thing is, Dave, the Eagles have 3 first-round picks. I'm not 100% sure they're keeping all those picks, Dave. I mean, I'm not trying to.
Probably not. Yeah.
I'm not trying to project anything, but looking at where they're all basically the same spot. They're all in that middle teens section.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Howie takes 2 and trades up, or takes 1 and tries to parlay in the next year. Or
yeah, he's been known to do that. Yeah, he's very seldom stays pat. And you're right. There's 2 ways you can go. Like you said, if there's a guy they really covet in, like, say, the top 10 or top 15 or something, then I could see them, or top 12. I could see them going up and getting him. And by the same token, the more he loves to collect draft picks. So yeah, I could definitely see a scenario where maybe he trades a first round and maybe a player to somewhere to get a first rounder next year too.
All right, Dave, before I let you go, I want to ask you a couple other things.
Sure.
One, the NFL playoffs, obviously, we saw a bunch of blowouts in the first round. It wasn't just the Eagles game. The Chiefs destroyed the Steelers.
Yeah.
The Bills crushed, shockingly, Belichick's Patriots. So what is your take on the teams remaining in the playoffs right now?
Boy, it's a tough call. I mean, it's really going to be really competitive, I think. Green Bay, the top seed, obviously, but I think they kind of have their hands full a little bit. I mean, Tampa Bay is certainly no slouch, being the defending champs. 49ers, I'm still not so sold on, but I mean, there's a possibility they could be there for the NFC Championship game. It seems like the AFC is really loaded. Tennessee, Buffalo, Kansas City. That Buffalo-Kansas City game is going to be a barn burner, from what I can tell. And then, that's the game that I'm really looking forward to seeing. But yeah, there's the right 4 teams are there, I guess you could say. And then this just goes to show you that they really shouldn't have 7 teams in the playoffs. I mean, the 7 seeds really, I don't want to say didn't deserve it, but they showed that they really had no place in there. Eagles and Steelers, I mean.
Well, I don't think it's a coincidence that the majority of the teams that lost also had rookie quarterbacks. You had Mac Jones and the Patriots. You had Jalen Hurts out there. Even though it's not a rookie, but it's his it's his first year as a full-time starter. Kyler Murray, his first postseason start. All those guys did not look very good in their first start. And it just makes you wonder, is part of the issue that you had a lot of guys who were able to maneuver the regular season, but when the postseason came, it was a different animal.
Yeah, but I mean, on the other side of the coin, though, you had Joe Burrow, who looked pretty good, and even coming back from a knee injury, and Roethlisberger's 100 years old, and he looked terrible. So, yeah, it's
that's his burger.
Maybe I think it might have been some growing pains for some of the younger guys, though. You're right.
Yeah, Ben, Ben's done with Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
They've all pretty much said it without saying. I think the only reason why he has officially announced it is because I think there's some clause in his contract that he has to announce it by a certain date. For his contract not to activate. Because you remember how some of these contracts, like the Jason Kelce contract's weird. Like basically, if Kelce doesn't retire by a certain date, his contract immediately becomes active because he's on the active roster, and then He's apparently like like a bunch of money if they don't like renegotiate his deal. Like, Dave, the NFL is full of these weird contracts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. Yep, I understand.
All right, one more thing before I let you go.
Sure.
So you tweeted, I got to make sure I get the date. All right, so this tweet was yesterday morning. Let me try to pop it up on the screen here so you can see what I'm talking about here. Because I don't want to quote you improperly here.
Okay,
but
it must be bad. Go ahead.
No, it's not bad, but it's actually something I agree with you on. So you tweeted out yesterday morning, I'm 5 episodes in the Yellowstone and I just don't get all the hype. Listen, I have a lot of people who have been up my rear about starting Yellowstone. And I keep telling people, I'm like, what is the incentive aside from Kevin Costner to watch this show? Like, I don't really have a lot of incentive. Like, I never watched Game of Thrones. I haven't watched Yellowstone.
I didn't watch Game of Thrones either.
I'm not a very trendy TV watcher. Like, I'm rewatching White Collar right now. I love that show.
Right.
So like, to me, either I like the show or I don't. I need incentive. And your tweet here almost put the nail on the coffin. I might never watch this show.
Well, it depends. I guess it's different cups of tea for people. I mean, I wanted to like it. I really did. I'll probably stick with it for a couple more episodes, only for the extracurricular activities, if you will, of the female lead. But yeah, it's I mean, and I'm a big Western fan, but I don't know. I just don't. Maybe because it got so much attention and people are so into it that I just don't see it. I mean, it's kind of boring, to be honest with you. And Kevin Costner talks with such a low, gravelly voice. I can't understand what he's saying half the time. I'm basically just biding my time until Ozark starts again. And I think that's in a couple of days. So I'm a big Ozark fan. I don't know if you ever tried that one yet, but
I haven't done Ozark yet. That is another one of the shows I've been told to watch that I actually will probably consider watching.
That's worth your time.
Because the problem for me is that, Dave, during the football season, I don't really watch anything except for football.
Sure.
So, for me, if I'm going to take time out of my day to watch another show, I need to have a reason to watch it. And for some of these things, I don't have a lot of incentive. You know what I mean? Like I haven't watched House of Cards either. It's another thing I'm supposed to watch at some point.
How about The Wire?
So I never watched the full Wire. I watched like a season and a half and I got distracted.
Okay. All right.
There's a lot of shows that, like I never fully watched. I think I only watched the first season of Boardwalk Empire. I didn't watch.
Oh my gosh.
Season. Yeah. Like I'm all over the place, man.
Okay. All right. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. If it doesn't grab you, I guess I can understand. Sure.
Well, the problem is that some of those shows also, like, if you don't have HBO, you couldn't watch it. And then now I have HBO Max. So it's like, now I'm trying to catch up on things. And
I got you.
Pick and choose when it's like midnight with what you want to watch for bread. You know what I mean?
Sopranos?
I've seen Sopranos. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I didn't see it in real time. I had to rewatch it later on.
I understand. Yeah.
I didn't have HBO at the time.
Okay.
So.
Right.
So
perfectly understandable. I got you.
Like I haven't watched Power, for example, because there was a time I didn't have Showtime or whatever network that's on. So
okay.
I'm one of those people. It's, to me, television watching is escapism and it has to be a little convenient. I want to go hunting for stuff.
Okay. Okay.
So like I'm the person where like I flip on the television. If I have to go to one of the apps that I have, I want it to be in my queue. If it's not in my queue, I want to go looking for it.
Okay. Alrighty.
So if I don't remember to add a show to my queue, I won't get around to it anytime.
When you're retired like me, you have a lot of free time, so you wind up watching a lot of TV.
Well, my dad's retired and he watches half the day he spends watching YouTube videos. So
oh gosh, okay.
Yeah, he's got that mindset. He's trying to still be educated. So
all right. Not me. I just want to be entertained.
Well, you need to be entertained because you don't have as much time to go golfing because of the weather. So.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
He's Dave Weinberg. Follow him on Twitter at Dave Weinberg 19. Check out his extra point columns over at 97.3ESPN.com. He joins us every Wednesday here for a Weinberg Wednesday on Game Night. Dave, always appreciate the time and the conversation.
Oh, thanks, Josh. And real quick, make sure you check out the Gary Russell fight that's coming to Borgata on Saturday night. It's on Showtime. Championship Boxing's first championship fight here in like 3 or 4 years. So it's definitely be worth it. It's just great to see boxing back in Atlantic City because that's where it belongs.
I assume you'll be there?
Absolutely. Yep.
That's what I like to hear. If there's a big boxing event in Atlantic City, I want Dave Weinberg to be there.
Yep, I'm definitely there. Yep.
All right, Dave, have a good
Josh,
one.
thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. All right, on the other side, we'll get some of your guys' thoughts and comments over on the messages. I see messages coming in, text from Jay in Cape May County, as well as a few others. Don't forget, you can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, thanks to First Bank of Seattle City. And of course, you can text in at 609-403-0973. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Joel driving by Brian. Whoa! Windmill slam! And what a dunk by Embiid!
The Sixers host the Orlando Magic. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
Bennett Chevy says, we want your vehicle, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. We can help with expert appraisers on hand to help you get more, and you don't need to buy one of ours. Plus, if you're stuck in a lease, Bennett Chevy is an authorized lease return center for all brands. Looking to trade? Bennett will give you a minimum $7,000 for any clunker, no matter the condition or mileage. That's a minimum $7,000 towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. And if you've got a good quality trade, you can only imagine how much more Bennett will pay. At Bennett Chevrolet, you always have options. Sell us your vehicle. There's no purchase necessary. Trade your old clunker. Get a minimum $7,000 towards any pre-owned in stock. Bring us your high-quality vehicle and have our expert appraisers make you an offer you can only imagine. And if you're stuck in a lease, Bennett can help. So whatever your needs or whatever you choose, at Bennett you'll always get more because nobody beats Bennett Chevy. Egg Harbor Township and BennettChevy.com.
Hey, Carrie, we need that tax report by tomorrow. Hey, Bobby, give me that expenses.
For Hari's accounting firm, client growth is
I know
exponential.
we're a couple of accountants short.
He
but-
needs whip-smart accountants at whiplash speed.
Hey, so why aren't these receivables matching up?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
So you finally got your credit score up to 700. You're feeling good, about to get a new credit card with rewards. You apply and, ooh, it's not approved. And that knocks your score right out of the 700 club. There's a better way. Next time, go to Credit Karma and check out your approval odds first so you can find a card you're more likely to get approved for. And with over 100 million members, there are plenty of reviews to help you choose. Get your free credit scores and find the right card for you at Credit Karma. Approval not guaranteed, subject to checks.
Have you ever noticed that when the afternoon light hits your floors, you can see everything, including dust?
So much dust.
And that floor dust gets kicked up into the air, compromising the quality of air you and your family breathe. Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper is the fast and easy way to clean your floors with ultra-thick pads that trap and lock dust before it gets in the air. Just a couple minutes a day.
And dust is gone.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper. Proud partner of the American Lung Association.
We're on to the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is celebrating. Counting down to Super Bowl 56, new customers can get 56-1 odds on any team. Bet just $5 and get $280 in free bets if your team wins. Not a new customer? You can still get in on the action of the divisional round with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. And for our New York listeners, DraftKings Sportsbook is officially live in New York State with mobile sports betting. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 973. Bet just $5 and win $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's code 973 at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey only, new customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Why does Walgreens offer copays as low as $0 and 90-day refills? Because we care about Medicare, so you don't have to. I mean, do you really care to hear me go on about same-day prescription delivery making your life easier? Or how there's a pharmacy expert available 24/7 and one-click refills? Well, I just did anyways. Fill your Medicare prescriptions with Walgreens and save.
$0 copays apply to Tier 1 generic drugs and select plans with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy. Restrictions apply. See walgreens.com/Medicare for complete details.
Hey, Jim! Thanks for coming.
Are you kidding? I never miss one of your dinner parties. How's the new job?
We're growing fast, and I stopped working weekends thanks to how much smoother everything runs on NetSuite by Oracle.
Fantastic. We're still using QuickBooks.
Why haven't you upgraded to NetSuite?
We're making QuickBooks work, sort of.
Shh, watch your language. The kids are right there. Sorry, Amy. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow, all in one place. And 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control since upgrading from QuickBooks to NetSuite.
Yeah, sounds like it's time for me to switch to NetSuite. Over 27,000 businesses already use NetSuite. For the new year, NetSuite has a new financing program for those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/radar. Head to netsuite.com/radar for this special one-of-a-kind financing offer on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. netsuite.com/radar.
Save thousands at Matt Blatt Kia. Get out of your old trade today, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Go to mattblattkianj.com for more details. That's mattblattkianj.com.
It's gotta be a
Matt Blatt Kia.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Final segment of the show, Sixers basketball coming up tonight. Tom McGinnis on the call, 7 p.m. Sixers Magic on 97.3 ESPN. Let's hear from you guys right now. Of course, we'll be getting messages throughout the shows we do each and every day. As always, you can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Thanks to First Bank CLC for listening on the app. Also, you can chime in at 609-403-0973. Jay in Cape May County says, Josh, do you like the idea of trading one of these first-round picks or to have two next year? That way, we'd have Amma to move up if Hurts isn't the guy. After another year, he deserves another year to play. It's from Jay in Cape May County. I mean, I like the idea of getting the first-round pick, not specifically because of Hurts, but because of the fact that it's always better to have more first-round picks than not. I just don't see a scenario where the Eagles draft with all three. You have two of them back-to-back and three within, 6 picks, basically? I think it doesn't make sense to keep all those picks. Like I told Dave Weinberg earlier, Jay, I think it's either going to be they trade 2 picks to move up or they trade 1 pick for a first-round pick next year. Like, for example, if a team is desperate to move up, maybe you have an agreement with that team and say, look, we're going to keep our first-round pick. We'll give you our second first-round pick because we know who we're picking already, and you can pick whoever you want after we get who we want. And that might guarantee, because the 2 picks are back-to-back, that guarantees that team's going to get who they want, kind of thing. So, Dan EHT chimes in as well. Says, can the Eagles win a Super Bowl with Hurts at quarterback? I say absolutely yes. In my opinion, Hurts is ranked inside the top half of the league. Well, first of all, Dan EHT, I think it's completely fair. I mean, the top half of the league is 32 teams, and if there's 32 starting quarterbacks and he's the 16th or 15th best quarterback, I don't think that's crazy. I think that that's what his potential is, more so than it is right now. I would say that right now, Jalen is top 20 in the league, and his potential is to be top 12 in the league. It's kind of like his, what he could be. And there's a lot of variables that go into that. Obviously, he needs to have the talent around him. That's a big part of this. I mean, I look at what can the Eagles do. Teams win championships to me. I said that a million times. I know some people don't like when I say that because I said it a lot, but listen, I think that Jalen is a guy who he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's a great leader, and I think you put the right talent around him with the right coaching, I think he can be successful. I think a lot of teams go win Super Bowls without Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, if you have the right team. You know, Patrick Mahomes had a horrible offensive line last year in the Super Bowl. That's a big reason why they lost. He had no time to throw. He was running for his life. Aaron Rodgers, for as great as he is, has only been to 1 Super Bowl. He's 1 for 1. He only won 1. Big Ben got the 3 with Pittsburgh. I would argue that Ben Roethlisberger, during his career, has played on better football teams more times than Aaron Rodgers has. And that's nothing against Rodgers. It's just a reality. And I think that the talent around you is important. And if I'm the Eagles, I try to put the best team around Jalen to find out if he's the real deal. If you put the best team possible around Jalen and he plays well, then you have your answer. If you put the best team around Jalen and he doesn't do as well as you think, then you have your answer there too. I think it's a very simple formula. Thanks to everybody who messaged into the show. Thanks, Dave Weinberg, for joining us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow for more football talk here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Sixers basketball next.